slow mode today, and here we go. Hi, my name is Johan Bekes. I'm a pharmacist. I'm also a certified immunizer and a level 2 certified functional pharmacy specialist. And that's where my passion is, with a specific interest in nutrition and how the body can use nutrition to do miracles. Our bodies were created to do miracles. If you know a little bit about biochemistry, you know what I mean. So I'm going to start off with, let's see, the missing nutrient. I'm going to tell you that I have right now in my body a nutrient or a group of nutrients that I want to say up to 80% of people who watch this video doesn't have in their bodies. And the reason being because we have removed it from the human diet. And it's been there for hundreds of years. I want to say from the beginning of time. This group of nutrients have been there. But because of money, we took it out. And it wasn't taken out in order for people to get sick. It was taken out in order to improve shelf-lives. Yes, you've got it. I'm talking about grain concentrates. And grain concentrates, these grain concentrates are usually found in whole grains. And you say, yes, but there's whole grain bread on the shelf all the time. If you're going to look at the manufacturing process, it's not there. Go buy a whole grain bread, put it on your kitchen table, and see how long it lasts before it goes rancid, because there should be oils in that whole grain bread, and also before it begins to grow mold, and before it gets like hard and you can't eat it anymore. It should be only about between 2 and 5 days. If it's any longer than that, it's not really whole grain. Because there's these things in whole grain, which is in the husks and the hulls. It's a group of oils, essential fatty acids. Why is it essential? It's essential, it means because if you don't eat them, you don't have them. I eat them every day. Love them. Make me feel amazing. And I'm going to read a study that was done, I think it was 1946, a little later. But first, let's see what has happened. Around beginning of the 1900s, we found, actually it was I think World War II, if I'm not mistaken. We found a way in order to make bread and these things last a lot longer. We moved from stone grinding to steel cutting. What we also found was that it is these specific oils that is in the husk of the grains of the wheat, that if we strip that layer off, that outside hard layer, and grind the rest down, the white starch, we can make that last a lot longer. But if we keep those oils that is in the husk and that outside hard cover in there, or just grind them in, that bread and that baked good and even that flour doesn't last that long. You have a real limited shelf life. And I think it was probably also to feed as many people as you possibly can, and therefore you're going to have to make things last longer. Fair point. But what they did not realize is that how important this group of nutrients is for human health. it is essential. It is literally essential. If you don't have them, your body is going to fail you. And it's going to fail you in the form that your cells are not going to get what they need. And I'll get into that, this picture behind me in a little bit. Number two, your hormones. There was this, this is a study that I'm going to read. That will blow your mind. I'm just going to read the short excerpt. And you're going to want to get this as soon as you can. Remember, you have 6 trillion cells in your body right now that is starving because it does not have this nutrient. And this nutrient is not like a vitamin or a mineral that you think, oh, you know, but I'm iron deficient. That's not it. Sometimes so many people eat enough nutrition or nutrients, they get enough zinc, they get enough magnesium, they get enough protein, they get enough of everything, but because they don't have this nutrient, their cells probably use maybe half of it. Here is why. Let's go all the way back. Let's forget about the nutrient and think about a little bit about the cell morphology, how the cell works. This is just a simple illustration of a human cell. You know, it's got a cell membrane, a nucleus, some organelles in between, all have functions, but we specifically want to talk about the cell membrane. And this is a big picture of how the cell membrane looks. Credit to my artist daughter, Michelle. She's awesome. Thank you for drawing the picture for me. Now, if you take a little piece of the cell membrane, let's do this. So let's take a little piece of the cell membrane, you know, and we cut it out, pull it out, make it 3D. You'll see that it is a fatty acid bilayer, which means fatty on the two. Let me get it. So fatty acid, a simple illustration looks like this: fatty and acid. So fatty on the outside, water soluble on the inside. So you've got 2 layers of this with the water soluble ends together, fatty on each end. And the reason for that is so that certain things can go in and certain other things can't. There's a reason for that. In the cell, which in many ways we do that anyway, because we overload our system so much with poisons and toxins that this poor cell membrane just can't keep up. And some of those toxins go in and it inscribes itself into the nucleus, and you can cause cancer that way, just by simple toxins. That you know that I read this study and I can't remember where it is. Sorry, I can't give you the reference because I can't remember. That up to 80% of cancers are caused by environmental toxins, which is not just the things in the environment. Environmental toxins is such a pretty word because it just so softens the blow. It's not the things that we breathe in. It's in our water. It is what we eat. Mostly what we eat. What we put on our bodies. All these skin creams and pretty makeup. The EWG did also a study about breast cancer. Do you know how many breast cancers are caused by hair dye? Crazy. So, protect your cells. You have 6 trillion cells in an adult body. Roundabout. So if you look at some people saying, that one's got probably about 8 trillion cells. Others maybe less, you never know. Anyway, but here's the cell membrane. These fatty acids that make up the cell membrane, big words, you don't need to know them. Arachidonic, linolenic, and linoleic acids. So they are intermingled into making a layer on each side of the cell membrane, and these are like transporters and receptors that is embedded in that cell membrane, like let's say glucose transporter, because that's the only way glucose gets into the cell, with a glucose transporter, not with metformin. Metformin works on the glucose transporter. GLTP1 and GLTP2 antagonists work on that transporter too. So, and receptors. So if with different receptors, this is how the body works. You send a chemical, a neurochemical or whatever, to tell the cell, okay, do this. By me moving my arms away when I talk, it's my brain sending signals to the muscles, binds to receptors, and it moves. That's how it works. And everything, you can break down everything in your body down to a molecule, piece of skin. Okay, it's a piece of skin, it's an organ. Then break it down even more, and now you have cells. Break those cells down. Now you have chemistry. So, what this missing nutrient does, because this group of nutrients in the husks and the hulls of the whole grains, which we will from now on just refer to as grain concentrates, because it's not just the fatty acids, the essential fatty acids that's in there. There is also the lipids and sterols, which is another great thing is when it comes to hormonal health. And two things that is really important to me that I told you in the beginning: nutrition and the endocrine system. I just love it. It's such amazing. It tells your body everything to do. It tells everything in your body what to do and how to perform. It tells you how to think. Think about that one. All right, let's go on. So, those fatty acids, if you don't have them, the cell membrane starves. And what happens with the cell membrane, it gets hard and not as permeable. Permeable is a word we use for nutrition to get in and waste product to get out. And like your body, the cell works the same. So you get nutrition to go in. If this nucleus decides, you know what, we need about 1 milligram of zinc right now, or a nanogram or whatever it is, and it sends a message by, we're only going to call it ER, to the cell membrane. It's a say, you know, if there's a few molecules of zinc floating by, grab them because we need it. So, message goes to the cell membrane, a little bit of zinc comes by, cell membrane says, oh, we need you, and grab it and absorb it. But now, if you don't have this nutrient, the message gets to the cell membrane, but the cell membrane does not know, it's too hard. Oh, here comes the zinc, what am I going to do? Oh, there goes the zinc, it's gone. So if you have this nutrient, you can keep your cell membrane healthy. So the cells will get what it needs. Also think about the same thing of a human body. Okay? So now you've eaten, you've got your zinc, you've got your magnesium, you've got everything that you need. Okay, now you've eaten, what happens next after you ate? You need to poop. Am I right? So in the same way, this cell metabolizes all these different nutrients, make the different proteins and structures that it needs to function and stay alive, and there's waste product. That waste product needs to leave the cell. Otherwise, this cell is not going to live very long. Like you, if you don't go poop, you're not going to live very long either. Luckily for our in the Western world, we have doctors and ERs to go to, but This poor cell does not. So if you're not going to take care of it, it's going to have a very short life. So if you flood your body with this specific group of nutrients that is in the husk and the whole of the whole grains, the lipids and the sterols, the essential fatty acids, there's some vitamin E in there as well, and it just, I know what it did to me. You will feel it. If you take a multivitamin, a supplement, whatever, and you don't feel different, you have just wasted your money. Oh yes, but it's the cheapest product I could find on the shelf. Yeah, I agree, it's the cheapest product you could find on the shelf, because you should have rather kept your money. That's how cheap it is. You've wasted your money. $5 for a bottle of supplements that, from the shelf, yeah, you've wasted your money. You can bring me a bottle of supplements that you bought, and I'll look at the label and tell you, if you bought it for $5, I'll tell you you've wasted your money. You can bring me a $60 bottle of supplements. I will look at the label and I'll tell you you've got a bargain. There is the difference. Yes, but I don't have money. Many people say, I can't afford to eat organic. I posted the video on my page yesterday, I believe. If you watch the full video, and I said it on the top, many people say, oh, I can't afford organic. If you watch that video, you can't afford not to. You can't afford not to. Because you pay for your health. Either pay for your health now, or pay a lot more for sickness later. Talking about paying and nutrition and this missing nutrient. I think it's about 3, 4, maybe 5 years ago. There was an article posted. It was in some newspaper. I think it's USA Today. It was, go Google it. The name of the article is "What We Don't Eat is Killing Us." Guess what is the #1 in the US? Whole grains. Why? We have taken it out of our diet. It's not there. True whole grains is not there. There's some genetic modified stuff. There's some things branded as whole grains. Have you seen whole grain Cheerios? There's no whole grains in there. There's a bunch of sugar, a bunch of starches. It's gonna kill you. No, not a whole lot of whole grains. Anyway, let's get back. Okay, so now if the cell membrane doesn't work that well, this waste product is not going to get out. So you need healthy cell membranes. So let's get to part B of this video, because this is what really excites me. And let me tell you, I started buying the supplement, and when it was explained to me, it took me back to my first year zoology class in pharmacy school. And I remember the teacher talking about the cell and the cell membrane, and she was looking at the whiteboard saying, you know, if we can just get something to keep our cell membranes healthy, we would not need half of the prescription drugs we as pharmacists have on our shelves. And I thought, well, it probably doesn't exist, it's not there. So, and lo and behold, 10 years ago, somebody walked through my front door and told me that this product actually does exist. And I listened to him, and because at that point I was practicing for 20 years already, I was thinking, that product does not exist, and now it tells me that there is. So I'm gonna have to take it, and because I know my body, I know how I am supposed to feel if I take it. And if I don't feel different, you'll just not hear from me again. Go on your happy life. We won't talk again because it doesn't exist. So I got the product, started taking it, and I just, because I'm a pharmacist, I just stick to the label dose. You can take more and have even a bigger benefit. You can take more. I have. It's different times of my life. I still take more and then I take this again. Just label dose in 6 days. Not a full week, 6 days. It's the first time since high school that I woke up before my alarm clock. And I just could not wait to get out of bed. I was so energetic and I felt happy. I felt me again. I could not wait to go to work. I could not wait to talk to people. I could not wait to smile to people. And as many people know, this is how I look when I'm happy. Anyway, so moving on. Now we're going to go to part B, and I'm going to read this little excerpt from the study. It was published, but this is a photocopy, so I don't know where it was published. But I'm going to read this little piece. In 1946, medical research team in a large Southern California hospital set out the task of determining some of the causes of chronic fatigue. How many people out there that you know or yourself have chronic fatigue? Always tired. That was me before I started taking that supplement. Many people entering the hospital complained of being tired and worn out, and even when clinical tests had been completed and nothing was found to be wrong organically, the complaints persist. Not all of these people were old in years. By the calendar, some were quite young, others were middle-aged. I was 30 years old and tired. In my 40s, I thought, this is it. You just go to work, flop on the couch and sleep. It's all that there is to life, work and sleep. Now I know there's a lot more. Further studies were made by the research group as to the nutritional function of chemical control units known as glands, endocrine system. With the aid of modern scientific equipment, several thousands blood and glandular tests were run. Okay, here we go. In certain cases tested, the output of glandular secretion of hormones from the endocrine gland system was found to be below normal. In other cases, the body cells were apparently not assimilating sufficient quantities of proteins. In some tests, let's quickly stop there. Not assimilating sufficient quantities of protein. So, what this supplement also do, what this nutrient does to your cells, it improves nutrient utilization by a lot. Where is it? It's almost, I think it's like 60%, 70% or something. Can't read that small writing right now. But anyway, so which means if you take 100% of the zinc that you need, without this nutrient, you're probably only going to use 40% of it. So your body is going to eliminate more than half of what your cells need. So, but if you do take this nutrient, You're going to use all of it. And that's why I think everything in your body starts working well. I've had some females who haven't had their monthly cycle and they're still young. Start to take this nutrient, and then they call me, something strange happened, because it makes everything in your body start working again. So think about it this way. If you drive a car that is not an fully electric car, so you don't have a Tesla or a Leaf, you have a Challenger. And you can buy an additive for $50 that can make your tank of gas, once you pull it in, you get about 420 miles per tank of gas. But if you add this additive, put that in there, now that gas will last you at 2, 3, or 4 times as long. Think about it. That is exactly what this nutrient do to your body. If you have this, all the other nutrients actually goes so much further, and that's exactly what this nutrient does. Okay, let's talk about the lipids and sterols. I can't find that piece now. But what they found was a specific 3 groups of hormones that they've tested. They tested the androgens, the estrogens, and the adrenal glands. And what they found after you start taking this nutrient, all these 3 groups, like estrogens in women, androgens in men, adrenals in both, all starts working the right way. So have you heard about adrenal fatigue? This is a way to combat that. There's a lot of lifestyle modification. If you have adrenal fatigue, you really have to think about what you're doing. And what really drives me crazy is some of these weight loss clinics who keep on feeding people phentermine. Drives me nuts. I really think you need to talk to me if you currently are on phentermine. So, all of these hormones start to work. So men start to feel like men, women start to feel like women, old people start to have energy. And that's exactly what happened to me. Before this nutrient, I would go work an 8-hour day, and sometimes I'll leave early because I'm tired, and I have full faith in my staff pharmacist. Just to come home, flop on the couch, take a nap before I eat, then just stay there until bedtime when my young children go to bed at 8, and I'll just knock out myself as well. And I sleep all the night through, and the next morning just to wake up in time to just get ready to work and rush down the street. Started taking this, and my life changed. I could not work enough to burn up this energy. So I had to come home and start washing the dishes, start doing things at home again. Now, woman, if your man comes home from work and he's tired, he's not lazy, he's tired. More than likely are you not feeding him this nutrient. So all of you, this is the training for today, and if you're interested in getting the grain concentrates and trying it out, you will not be sorry. Your cells will totally love you. So if you're interested in this, you're gonna have to hit that message button and like and comment and share this video, and hit me up on Messenger, and we can set you up and send you a bottle to try it out. It's not going to be free because it costs me money to get it out, but you know, it will be the best money you ever spent. The best money you ever spent. So hit me up on Messenger if you want to try this out. and let's get healthy. I tell you now, if your cells don't get nutrients in and waste products out, you're not going to be healthy. That's the way it is. So you have to get the grain concentrates in your body, and you have to get a lot of it as soon as you can. So with all that said, I'm done for today.